Cosatu Parliamentary Coordinator Matthew Parks now joins us for a conversation as Trade Union Federation Cosatu says it is concerned by the situation in some northwestern Free State municipalities where salaries for workers are often not paid. The Federation blames this on corruption. In the Luxembourg-based Disobotla local municipality, workers were not paid salaries for 2 months. Let's then talk to Matthew Parks. A very good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good evening. Thank you for having us.
All right, let's talk about the fact that, you're blaming corruption for the non-payment of these workers in the Northwest and Free State municipalities. How did you get to this conclusion? Do you have proof that indeed there is corruption involved in all of this? Because they're saying on their side that they simply don't have, funds.
Of course they don't have funds. They've stolen the money. And look, I'm not aware of any criminal who ever admits to guilt. And if you go to our correctional services, they're full of innocent people, allegedly. But look, it's a scary picture. One doesn't need to take the words of Cosatu. One just simply needs to look at the reports of the Auditor General every year. And the AG has painted a very scary picture of these municipalities, but many other municipalities in the Northwest, the Free State, the Eastern Cape, in Gauteng and Limpopo, in Mpumalanga. It's a very, very scary picture, and it's getting worse each year. About 2 years ago, it was about 20 municipalities in 4 provinces which continuously, routinely fail to pay their staff either the salaries, or they maybe deducted monies from the salaries for pensions or medical aid or other statutory deductions like tax, compensation of injury and duty fund, etc. I wouldn't hand it over. Today, it's about 36 municipalities in about 6 provinces. And the way it's going, we can see it actually reaching 40 municipalities by Christmas. Yeah. It's quite scary. A decade ago, and it's for a variety of reasons, a decade ago, it was about 10% of our municipalities across the country were in financial distress. Today, it's about 175 municipalities out of our 259. And look, it's for a variety of reasons. Yes, it's for corruption, it's mismanagement, is the appointment of incompetent leadership in terms of the mayors or councillors or management, etc. For example, at times you'd have a director of utility services who's not an engineer, no idea what engineering is or how to lay pipes, etc. There is also many of these municipalities are simply not financially sustainable. Some of them are very, very small towns. They just can't sustain having a mayor, a speaker, municipal managers, etc. We do need to have a frank and honest discussion amongst ourselves as a country. Can we sustain 259 municipalities? Should not be having a real discussion about how can we accelerate moving towards a district development model? Because to be honest with you, residents and communities don't care if they have a mayor or a speaker. What they do care about is having basic services like water, sanitation, electricity, and roads, etc. Similarly with businesses too. So I think for us, we want to raise alarm bell. Our General Secretary was in Tsopotla today, trying to intervene to get these worker salaries paid because they hadn't been paid for 2 months. And Tsopotla has been a basket case municipality for some time. This is the same municipality in the town of Luxembourg, where they failed to provide basic services, which then forced Clover Dairy Company, which is a major employer in that town, basically to pack up bags and move, plunging the town into poverty.
Mr. Parks, just a quick one here. Why is there no intervention, on a national level? I would assume that this requires ministers to get involved. I mean, this is obviously, to me anyway, a crisis. Particularly if the municipalities are claiming that there are no funds, and as you say, this is actually just linked to corruption. So obviously there wouldn't be any funds. Surely there should be some intervention from a national level. Why isn't there?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, to be honest. There has been intervention, especially in the Northwest, where many municipalities were put under administration by Parliament over the years. Sometimes it hasn't delivered the results we would have wanted to. I think the intervention were not comprehensive enough. Times the national government would intervene for 6 months, for a year, then hand back the municipality to the same delinquents to mismanage once again. Because often you'll find that corruption and mismanagement are really ingrained in some of these municipalities from top to bottom. So that's one issue. But at times you're right. We have not seen much intervention recently by Cognitor, by the minister, by Salga, etc. And situations are getting worse. We've basically been forced to have a campaign as Cosatu and our affiliate SAMU in the municipal sector to go to these towns every week, every month, to lead marches to the municipalities, to try to put political pressure on these mayors and so forth. So that it yields results. And look, so for example, it's good that we're getting reports today that people in supported municipality are now being paid today.
Yeah.
But what guarantee do we have that they'll be paid next month? Because unless you address the fundamental cause of the crisis, from corruption to mismanagement, also to lack of capacity, you would find at times, Flo, that some municipalities like Madibeng, also in the Northwest, they returned, if I'm right, about R1 billion in conditional grants for infrastructure last year, simply because when government started tackling corruption, some of these municipal managers don't know how to spend money outside of corruption. So this is money which is needed for infrastructure. They don't have capacity because they don't appoint competent management, and hence it's returned to treasury. So it's a multiplicity of real crises, but I think your point is the key one. We need to see real intervention by national government, taking over some of these municipalities and appointing competent managers, CFOs, engineering, utility service directors, and really helping to overhaul supply chain and ensure corruption is dealt with.
And in the meantime, Mr. Parks, are you perhaps encouraging workers, some might indeed be affiliated to your union, to perhaps, I don't know, down tools or protest? I mean, what should they be doing in the meantime? I mean, 2 months without getting paid is simply unacceptable.
It's a difficult one because, look, municipal workers, they want to do their job. They obviously want to get paid like any other person who's got, a family to take care of. It's difficult for them to get to work because if you don't have money, so where do you get money for transport? And municipal workers are not paid a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
It's frustrating for them. They too live in communities. They live in our townships, in our villages, in our rural towns. They can see the collapse of basic services. And, they get a lot of pressure from the community who blame them. When in reality, it's a management issue, it's a capacity issue, etc. It's a difficult one. But look, when workers are not paid, they have a right, and it's the little other choice besides to withhold the labor, to force the employer to pay them what is due to them. But really, it is a horror scene. We had a municipality in the Northern Cape, Thembelihle municipality, which is the Hopetown, Oranje area, where workers were not paid for 12 months, 12 whole months.
My goodness.
We've had municipalities in the Eastern Cape who would tell workers, we'll pay you for the next 3 months, but after that, we won't pay for another 3 months. One stage, I think it was Amahlati or municipality in the Eastern Cape, if I'm right, which paid workers with pick and pay vouchers. So it is a real crisis. We've seen in also in the Eastern Cape, this other municipality which collapsed recently, I forget the name, sorry, one figures, there's so many of these municipalities, where it's just a complete disintegration. And at times, the national ministers just don't seem to respond to the level of urgency that the situation is crying for.
Yeah.
And it really is scary because you can have intervention at an SOE, it's a much more controlled entity. It's difficult to intervene in 259 municipalities. So I think our plea to government is that we need to act quickly. Things are getting out of control. If we don't act now, it might get to the point where it's very, very difficult to turn things back to where they should be.
All right. Mr. Parks, thank you very much for talking to us. Matthew Parks is Cosatu's Parliamentary Coordinator there, talking to us, of course, about the concern that the situation in the Northwest and Free State municipalities, where in some cases salaries haven't been paid for up to 2 months.